Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to this third session of the 8th Parliament of the Republic of Namibia, of course taking place today on the 3rd of February 2026. And today's Parliament ceremony is actually taking place under the theme enhancing the role of Parliament for an inclusive development and a participatory democracy. Today's ceremony officially also ushers in the third session of the 8th Parliament, making this the beginning of the new legislative year with obviously renewed commitment in serving the Namibian people. Now, I'm Crystal Nassau, and today accompanying me is our sign language interpreter, Nada Shipau. We are, of course, broadcasting live here from Parliament, and our broadcast can be heard on all our NBC platforms, radio platforms, including the digital platforms on NBC Digital, and also on television, making sure that this very important session is experienced live by all Namibians across the country. Now, the significance of today's event is that it will be officiated by the President of the Republic of Namibia, Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah. I can hear some sounds happening here, and it sounds a bit festive behind me. And I have with me on set Mr. Zacchaeus Kadikwa. He's the Senior Public Relations Officer of the National Assembly. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
Mr. Zacchaeus, as you can hear, something is definitely happening there behind us. Can you explain what is the band doing? What is happening?
Yes, we are actually expecting or hearing the arrival of the Namibian Defence Force team as they are parading. They have lined up, as we're speaking, at the intersection of Robert Mugabe, which was closed off as per our earlier communication. We will be seeing members of the NDF lining up on both sides of the road, allowing the parade to proceed as they are entering the presence or the premises of Parliament. Thereafter, we'll also have the learners or school-going learners that are also part of the line-up that Parliament has prepared for this occasion or for this momentous occasion that we're having here at Parliament.
The school-going learners, are they just from the Khomas region? How did you come about them?
Yes, we have actually just identified learners, or not identified as per se, but we have invited learners that are within the Khomas region. These are the ones that we have invited to be part and parcel of the procession.
And what else can we expect besides the learners and also the arrival of the National Defence Force?
Yes. Apart from the learners that are going to line up, we also have traditional or cultural groups that are going to line up, and they're going to perform a number of dances or number of cultural performances that are going to take place. Thereafter, once we have the procession of the Namibian Defence Force ready up and forming up the Guard of Honor, then we'll have the arrival of the dignitaries. These are now your chief, the judicial system, or the members of the judiciary. This is now the Chief Justice, Deputy Chief Justice. Then you have our invited guests that are the three heads of the uniform personnel, the NDF, the Namibian Police Force, and the Namibian Correctional Force as well. And we'll also have arrival of the executive, which is now the vice president, former president, and then the president, as well as, but before the arrival of all those dignitaries, we'll have then our in-house or the invitees, which is the speaker and then the chairperson of the National Council, waiting or to receive the invited guest here at the entrance of Parliament.
I don't want us to miss this. You mentioned earlier the Guard of Honor. Can you explain what this is all about to our viewers out there?
Yes, I will not do justice to explain as to what it does actually because I'm not from the military background. But
But of course, just a bit of
yes,
background.
yeah. No, just for a layman's person that is back there at home to listen and to understand what's going to happen, we'll have the military personnel or the men in uniform that will be standing facing towards the entrance or the building itself, and they will be seen off or they will be actually given the sign of which is now the guard of honor by the president, whereby the I don't know how you call the person that is going to announce, whereby he is going to inform the president that the guard, I mean, the military procession is ready to be signed off by the president,
By the
where the
president.
president has now to give that guard of honor. Yeah, so it's a respectable ceremony or it's a respectable military procession that happens when the head or the leader, not the leader, but the
commander in
commander in
chief.
chief, correct, where the commander in chief has to declare and say, yes, I'm in agreement with the lineup and the standing of the military personnel. That's the guard of honor. And that will be done also in concurrently with the 21 gun salute that will be that will also take place as the president or the head of state is honoring the guard of, doing the guard of honor.
So the 21 gun salute, at what other occasions is it done besides at the opening of Parliament?
In most cases, we hear about the 21 gun salute happenings when you have a state funeral of your state funeral that is being accorded by the president or by the head of state. That's when that's some of the moments where you have the 21 gun salute. But here at Parliament, we witness the 21 gun salute when we have a function of this magnitude. Maybe also, Christelle, just to inform the general public why we have this momentous occasion, it's because we always have such an occasion every time Parliament is opening, and that's the first Tuesday of February. When Parliament, according to the Parliament calendar, where we have the three branches of the state under one roof, and this has also been observed by both or the bicameral system of the Parliament, where we have the two or both houses of Parliament, the National Assembly, of course, with the National Council, all assembling under the chambers of the National Assembly, plus the other two branches of the state, which is the executive, the judiciary, as well as the legislative.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kadikwa. Also, in terms of the theme of today, can you kindly introduce this theme to our viewers and also maybe give us a bit of background? How did you come about this theme and what is its significance to today's occasion?
Yes, indeed. The theme is actually to, as you clearly stated it, that the theme of this year or the opening of this day is to enhance the role of Parliament for inclusive development and participatory democracy. This theme emanated from what we looked at, looking back at what the Vision 20, or coming closer to Vision 2030, that is coming to an end. Looking down the line after, or with
about
the
4 years
with a
coming.
reminder of 4 years to come, it has necessitated us to look at the theme in that broader view to see that how far or how can we encapsulate the reminder of the Vision 2030, what is the achievement that has been done, and also looking at the National Planning Development, the NDP6, and all other United Nations development plans that we have actually earmarked or scaled ourselves in terms of achievement. So with this theme, we saw it very useful or fitted or befitted to be used as a theme that we can look further as Parliament is opening. And we also want to assure that when it comes to democracy, Parliament is indeed assuring that we have or we are pulling into one direction, and we assure that every Namibian's view, every Namibian's suggestion, or every Namibian has brought their views closer to the legislature so that we have the inclusivity and everybody's voice is heard That's where the theme actually emanated.
You mentioned in terms of zooming into the national goals and international goals and tracking how far we've come. In your own opinion and also your experience from the National Assembly, how far do you think we've come with Vision 2030 and also especially the UN Sustainable Development Goals? Are we there yet? Have we reached some of them? I know that the president was quoted earlier last week that the NDP 6 is about to come to an end and something is happening around that. Maybe I can give you an opportunity to tell us more.
Yeah. Parliament in general, or as the legislative branch of government, we can tap our back. We can tap ourselves on the back and say that yes, we have achieved those that were within our premises or within our mandate, but a lot still needs to be done, especially where we now highlight the theme that looks at the economic, social, and developmental issues that is affecting this country. So we have specified that there are, we can hear now the 21 gun salute taking place, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, it's loud.
So yeah. So we can pat ourselves on the back and say that yes, we have reached a target of a certain extent. Although we have really not done justice in terms of achieving the Vision 2030. Looking down the line with the remaining of the 4 years, we now have to go back to the drawing board as a legislative branch of government and try to come up with amicable or solutions that will actually amplify the work of the legislative. So that's all up to the legislators themselves. But in general, looking at the national development goals that we been earmarked to, Parliament is actually aligning its programs to assure that the achievement of the national development goals are adhered to, and we also assure that yes, we have that inclusivity and bringing everybody on board, so that we can collectively achieve the national planning goals.
I know that you are from the National Assembly, but perhaps you can also just stretch a little bit to give us the difference between the two houses of Parliament, which is the National Council and also the National Assembly, just so that we can be on par with you and all others here at Parliament.
Crystal, I'm so glad that you asked me such a question, because at times and then the public is actually confused what Parliament is. In most cases, you will hear a person saying that I'm going to Parliament, and then the person says that no, I was just at National Council. I still need to go to Parliament. You get where the confusion comes in. Yes, the difference is that Parliament, which is the umbrella, or which is actually a house on its own. Namibian Parliament is regarded as a bicameral system. What do we say about this? A bicameral system, we mean that we have two houses of Parliament, where you have the National Assembly and the National Council.
Yes.
National Assembly is the lower house of Parliament. This is where you have your ministers, deputy ministers, and then the backbenchers. This is now
they
the house.
sit in the National Assembly.
They sit in the National Assembly, and this is where laws emanates from, or this is where laws are actually brought before they are sent to any other house. Then we have the second house of Parliament, which is the National Council, and this is regarded as the upper house of Parliament or the House of Review. This is where bills are referred to once they have been once they have been dealt with by the National Assembly. They are referred to the National Council for the National Council to review these bills. At the National Council, this is where you have constituency or regional councillors that are elected to serve the nation under the National Council.
So the cardinal difference, if I get this correct, is that the National Assembly are the ones that come up with the laws, and the National Council is then the one that actually reviews the law. So they become the oversight, but then both houses then sit in what we call Parliament.
Yes, partly correct, but just to strengthen or to emphasize more on that, both houses, or Parliament has two houses, as I've mentioned them. And every member or every house has a composition of its own members.
Okay.
Members of the National Council do not sit in the chambers of the National Assembly, nor does the members of the National Assembly sit in the chambers of the National Council. However, with today's ceremonial occasion, this is the only time where you have both houses, which is what we regard to as a joint session. This is where you'll find both members of both houses sitting under one roof. This is mostly at the National Assembly. So all, in essence, what I'm trying to say here is every house has its own members or composition of its members. National Assembly that has a composition of 104 members, while the National Council has a composition of 42 members. So they are all members of Parliament with various responsibilities and functions as well. And to rectify the oversight function, Parliament in general, Parliament as a house, has three key functions: legislative, oversight, and representation. Those are the functions of Parliament. And these are served by all members of Parliament, irregardless of which house they are serving.
Thank you so much. Wow, that is so insightful. And I also understand now where the inclusivity comes in from the theme. Moving forward, could you explain the role of the National Assembly in processing and also scrutinizing bills such as the Public Enterprises and Governance Amendment Bill 2025, and also how this ensures accountability and good governance?
Yes, as I said, Parliament in general, which is the House of Laws, or where laws are made from, has a key function of making laws, which is legislation.
Yes.
Oversight, that's now taking Parliament out to the people or to the electorates under the Parliamentary Standing Committee's functions or roles. And then the third responsibility or function of Parliament is representation. They are therefore to speak on behalf of the general public, because they are given that platform or mandate through our votes.
Yes.
So those are the key functions of Parliament. To answer your question, Parliament Parliament in general has the function of assuring that laws are brought to Parliament. Laws are brought to Parliament. Bills are brought to Parliament. Bills are tabled in Parliament. Bills are debated by the members of Parliament under the plenaries, and then they also refer those bills to Parliamentary Standing Committee with the idea or with the understanding of seeking clarity, or them trying to get expert opinion on a critical bills that comes to Parliament before they make laws without the voice or the voice of the voiceless. So inclusivity, number one, is very important. That's why they take bills out to the people through the Parliamentary Standing Committee. We invite the general public to submit their contribution, most especially when a bill is tabled in Parliament. It becomes a public document for you and I, for the general public, to get hold of this document, and then them also to give their inputs. And then they also members of Parliament solicit inputs from the general public by going out into the communities, into the regions, just to find out what the general public's overview is. So those are critical key functions of Parliament. Most importantly, simply because we want to have an inclusive Parliament, and we want to assure that the voices of the marginalized and then the vulnerable communities are also heard. And we also do not want to have laws that are only made by members of Parliament. We take it as a starting point and as a critical item that we want to assure that every person in this country is part and parcel of the lawmaking process through those platforms that we have availed.
So with major legislation like the Petroleum, or rather the Exploration and Production Amendment Bill 2025 that's coming before Parliament this year, how does the National Assembly plan to get this bill out to the public to have informed debates around it?
Yes, as I clearly indicated, that when we receive bills, Just also to highlight here that we have two types of bills that comes to Parliament. We have the private members bill and then the government bill.
What is the private members bill?
Yes, I'm getting there. The private members bill is actually a proposal to a law that is brought to Parliament by any other person that is not a minister nor a deputy minister. So any member of Parliament that is not a minister or deputy minister can bring laws to Parliament, and it's regarded to as the private members bill.
Okay.
While with the government bill, this a proposal to a law that is brought to Parliament by any other members of Parliament that are either ministers or government, so to say. So bills that are brought to Parliament by government are regarded to as a government bill.
Yes.
While private members' bill are bills that are brought by any other members that are not from the executive, sort of kind to say. So the difference here is that a bill that is brought in by the government has to go through a process of assuring that it has done justice, whereby it has to seek approval from the cabinet before it is brought to Parliament. While with the private members' bill, this bill does not seek cabinet approval. However, it comes to Parliament, provided that it is written in a legal language, and it's also not. It's also not contradicting what the Constitution is saying.
Yes.
So, provided that the bill is written in a language that a bill should be written, and it's brought to Parliament, they are all accepted and tabled in Parliament. Once a bill has been tabled in Parliament, this document or this bill becomes accessible to the general public to get hold of such a bill. Why? For them or for the general public to have their inputs, to review, to have their reservations and whatnot. And as per the Parliament procedures, all bills has to go under through reading stage at the National Assembly, because this is where bills are actually brought to.
Yes.
Once a bill has then gone under the 3 reading stage, sometimes it goes until to the 2nd reading stage, and it is referred to a parliamentary standing committee. With National Assembly, we have about 13 parliamentary standing committee, depending on the situation or depending on what the bill entails, it can be referred to a specific or to a specific parliamentary standing committee. Then that committee has to go out to all 14 regions.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Sakias. We actually have Joleni Shopoleni from our news desk, who is also interviewing some members of parliament, and we have some excellent members of parliament coming through right now. So over to you, Joleni, over to you.
Interested in. This year I would like to see that we also look at best ways to support our young entrepreneurs through the youth enterprises and the support that they receive, and that particularly is the National Youth Council Act that speaks to how young people can be empowered in this country. So we are looking forward to see if our minister will bring forth any changes to that act. I'm sure once they've finalized and completed all the governance issues that was at the NYC, because we have seen the Youth Development Fund being rolled out as well. And there also I'm very particularly concerned about the current GBV in our country. We continue to see an increase and a rise in cases of women that are still being killed, young girls still being killed. But we've also seen a rise in the increase of suicide rates, particularly amongst the youth. And therefore the mental health bill for me is something that we should not sit on for too long, because we should ensure that the ministry then creates an environment that is fit for purpose, in which we can address mental health in our country and ensure issues of suicide and all of those related mental health conditions are properly treated.
All right, Honourable, what message would you like to send out to the public as the parliamentary business year begins?
It's just to say that we take our work very serious. We do understand that we are the representatives of the people in Parliament, and serving in parliamentary committees where we do oversight work particularly, it's where you can pick up really the bread and butter issues that are affecting our people. I have the privilege of serving in the Health Parliamentary Committee, Gender, Education, Youth and Economy. So through the work that we do as we go out on our oversight missions, it's where you really are reminded of the urgency against which we need to conduct our work with as parliamentarians, and it's just to assure the nation that the issues of the cost of living currently is extremely high in our country. The issues of, prices of water, electricity, all those basic essentials, accommodation, whether you are renting or you seek to be a homeowner, all of those are issues that through legislation we should ensure that it's not very hard being a Namibian right now. So it is really just to assure the nation that we take to heart the issues that are there, that affect their livelihoods, their daily livelihoods, and through the platform that we have as parliamentarians, it's to genuinely represent our people and what it is that they need out there, that they need us to do as parliamentarians in order to ensure that we give a quality of life back to our citizens through our work as the legislatures.
All right, Honorable Bush, as the ceremonial opening of the Parliament is beginning, what does this moment represent to you?
This moment is very dignified. Yesterday, we have witnessed the head of state opening cabinet, and as you know, Namibia has the 3 organs of state that form the state. So cabinet is the organ that represents our executive. Today, she's opening parliament. Parliament represents the legislature, and soon, as per our constitution, the head of state will be opening the judiciary, which is the courts. And so when these 3 organs are officially opened by the head of state, it then is indicative that government is open for business. Government is working on behalf of the people, implementing programs, policies, and activities that must uplift Namibians. So the head of state's presence here today is underscoring the urgency for parliamentarians to get to work, to roll up our sleeves and start doing our work as legislatures, and to pass laws that meaningfully and positively impact the lives of our people.
All right, Honorable, thank you so much for your insights.
Thank you.
And of course, we are still here broadcasting live from the Parliament building on the 3rd session of the 8th Parliament of the Republic of Namibia. And our interview is still continuing with the spokesperson of the National Assembly, Mr. Zacchaeus Kadikwa. Mr. Kadikwa, in line with the theme of enhancing Parliament's role for inclusive development, what measures are in place to actually ensure that the diverse voices, including rural communities and also marginalized communities, are heard during the lawmaking process?
Yes. What we have in place, or what we normally do, is that we consult, or we actually engage with the general public through our parliamentary standing committees. When they go out into the constituencies in the regions, it's for them to solicit input from the general public, be it now the marginalized community or those that are affected or those that are significantly going to contribute to such a bill. So that's one platform. Secondly, we also invite, or we are in close communication or engagement with civil societies, whereby we also ask them to be part and parcel of the lawmaking process. In general, what I'm trying to say here is we have a number of avenues or platforms that Parliament has availed to the general public, depending on what aspect of the society you find yourself. We have our social media platform where we engage with the public in terms of seeking their inputs, their contribution, their comments or their suggestions. And we also invite them to write, because they are also at liberty to write to any member of Parliament of their choice, which is what we call as lobbying. You can lobby to any member of Parliament of your choice just for you to give your input, and then that input is comprehensively captured and brought to Parliament. So we have a number of platform or avenue that we involve, or we invite the general public. Importantly also, Parliament, which is now a platform or actually a house of inclusivity, and we want everybody to be part and parcel of the lawmaking process. We have also introduced, or we not introduced, but we also have avenues like the Children's Parliament, which is a platform that is given to the young ones so that they can influence policy issues that are already in existence, and then That's a platform that we have also availed. Secondly, we have the Youth Forum, which is the National Youth Council, that also targets a number of groups, meaning, or what I'm trying to say is that every category of members of the society.
I'm sorry, I'll have to cut you there, Mr. Kadikwa. We have Jelani also on the line there interviewing Esther Kalola. Over to you, Jelani.
We are coming to you live from Parliament, where the official opening of the parliamentary year for 2026 is underway. Members of Parliament from both houses, which is the National Council and the National Assembly, will arrive and has already actually arrived for a joint sitting, which will formally mark the beginning of the parliamentary business year. And right now, here next to me, I'm joined by AR Esther Haikola. Compliments for the new year, Honourable.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Just speak to us on your expectations for this parliamentary year.
Our expectations are actually very simple. Putting Namibia first, building Namibia, and putting people first. This in such a way that we will pass laws that are well scrutinized, bills that are well scrutinized, not in a rush. This time around, we are not going to rush any bills, but we will pass the laws and the bills that will benefit all Namibians. So this year's focus is you Namibians, people at home, from the north to the south, in the middle, all the corners, is people.
Wonderful, Honourable. Now speak to us personally as a Member of Parliament. What will your priorities be for this year?
Still very simple, to represent my people in and out, whether I'm inside Parliament or outside Parliament. As I've mentioned that even as an AR member, our mandate is to put people first. So even me as an individual MP is still to put people first.
Honourable, thank you so much. Wonderful. We are still coming to you from Parliament, where the official opening is underway. As you can see right here behind me, members are entering the Parliament for the start and for the address of the President. Now, we do also know that the President's address will set the tone for the entire parliamentary year. And we will bring you more as we will stop members on the way just to speak to us about the expectations and what their priorities will be for the year. But for now, over to you.
Of course, we are still here on the NBC, reporting live from the Parliament building at the 8th session of the Republic of Namibia's opening of Parliament. Now, we can see a lot of exciting guests arriving here. Earlier on, we had the Minister of Health also arrive, and also the Chargé d'Affaires from the US Embassy that also just arrived just as I was spotting. But our interview still continues, and with Mr. Sakias Kadikwa, who is the National Assembly Senior Public Relations Officer. We've been speaking, Mr. Kadekwa, we've been speaking a lot about the various bills earlier on in our discussion, but I'm just thinking, does everyone know the difference between a bill and when it actually becomes a law? What is the difference between the two?
Yes. I used to get that question across when I actually have school tours, because that's part of my mandate as well. We have learners that comes to Parliament just to get a tour on Parliament, and then you'll ask them what a bill is. Surprisingly, you'll be hearing that a bill is what you owe at a restaurant.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, okay. At the legislature, as a legislative language, what a bill is basically just to say it's a proposal to a law. When you propose for a law to become a law, you don't bring a law to Parliament, but what you bring to Parliament is a bill. That's the proposal for a law to unfold. It's called a bill. So, are we together? So that's the bill. When does a bill becomes a law? A bill only becomes a law once it has exhausted the process of lawmaking. I spoke about a bill being brought to Parliament. It has to go through reading stage. Sometimes it's been referred to a parliamentary standing committee, and then a bill is referred to the National Council, where it needs to be reviewed, or it has to go through that whole process again, the same process that is taking place at the National Assembly. repeat itself again at the National Council. And then a proposal, the bill is being reviewed by the National Council. National Council then sent it back to the National Assembly with or without recommendation, and then the National Assembly prepares the bill for the bill to go to the executive, for the executive to assent or dissent, meaning that for the president to approve or not to approve such a bill. Once the bill has been approved by the executive, the bill is then advertised in the government gazette, in the government newspaper, which is what we regard to as the government gazette. Then it becomes a bill, a law.
A law.
Yes.
We are also now still crossing over. Thank you so much, Mr. Kadikwa. We are crossing over again to my colleague Joleni, who is interviewing one of the MPs. Over to you, Joleni.
Members of Parliament are still arriving ahead of the President's address, which will open the Parliament and outline its priorities for the year. But for now, we want to find out the priorities of some MPs which have already arrived. And right here next to me, we have Honorable Vetaruwe Kantorotu, who will speak to us on his priorities for the parliamentary year. Honorable, compliments for the new year.
Compliment. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Honorable, just speak to us on your priorities for the 2026 parliamentary year, as well as your personal priorities for Parliament and for the people that you are representing as a nation.
Yeah, I think first let me start with the most important thing of today is that when the two houses comes together and the president of the country speak to us. So yesterday she did with the executive and now with the legislature and then again with the judiciaries. So those are very important branches of Namibia that we have in terms of keeping our democracy alive. However, on the things that I really want to accomplish this year, last year we were learning, we were new from the executive and also from the legislature. We have a bunch of new honorable members. So as a matter of fact, the executive also delay a bit in terms of bringing the bills to the chamber, and then as a result there was a bit of delay. So therefore my main priorities is to make sure we finish the land bill. That's the most important things, and that's the most of the bone contention that we have in this country. We have people that are roaming around in the corridors with their animals. We have quite a number of generational farm workers that have been harassed by German dissidents and most of these Europeans that own our farms. So we need to rush on the land bill so that it can be enacted as a law, or as an act. So that's my main priorities. Without land, we have nothing. We can talk about any other bills, mental health, whatever. At the end of the day, you need land. But as we speak now, we don't have land at all. And it's because of the absence of a better and responsive land bill that we need to enact in this House.
Honorable, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Well, there right at the background, we were able to see the judges also lining up to receive the president. Mr. Kadikwa, can you tell us a little bit more about that? The judges right there at the back, they just left to go and receive the president.
Yes, the judges forms the procession of the speaker and then the National Council's chairperson's procession to go and receive the president as the president arrives, whereby the chairperson, the speaker and then the chairperson will then receive the president and then the first gentleman, so that they can actually witness the lining up of the defense, the school-going kids, as well as the cultural groups.
And what about the other invited guests? Can you tell us a little bit more about them? I think you spoke about 3 different groups. Maybe you can just highlight that again, since that is about to happen right here at the back.
Yes. What normally has to happen is that we have to have the protocol list ticked off, whereby you have the judge president arriving, you have the deputy judge president. In that sequence, that protocol sequence, obviously first the deputy judge, then the judge president, and then we'll be receiving members of parliament, although we have been receiving them as back as an hour ago, coming
Yes.
one by one. But that's the sequence that we are expecting them to come. Then we have, we are expecting the vice president to arrive anytime, followed by the former president and his spouse. Thereafter, we'll see the president's motorcade arriving, and then they will be, they will be welcomed then by the procession of the speaker, followed by the judges or by the judiciary. So with the arrival or with the lineup of the invited guests up here or in front of the parliament, we are expecting to have a lineup of the judges, as I said, which is the judiciary. The three uniform personnels.
Who are the three uniformed personnel?
We have the head of defense, the head of correctional service, Namibia Correctional Service, as well as the Namibian head, the Namibian police force. Those are the three uniform personnel that are also going to form up the high or the invited guest to observe as the president is actually guarding the guard of honor.
The guard of honor.
Yes.
Oh, wow. The atmosphere here is definitely picking up and it's heating up with the cultural groups. So after this, I believe we are to expect the president.
Yes, we'll be expecting the president and we'll have the whole ceremonial event to unfold. You'll be seeing the president coming, you'll be seeing the president's procession accompanied by the speaker and the deputy speaker, the speaker and then the chairperson of the National Council's procession leading or coming towards the guard of honor. So that's now where you will see the president observing, watching how the learners are waving the flags and singing songs that they have prepared, as well as also observing the cultural groups as they are doing what they do best before we start off with the hosting of the flags, the AU and the National Assembly, the AU and then the national flag, which will also be followed by the national and the AU anthem. Thereafter, the Guard of Honor, concurrently with the 21-gun salute.
Of course, we are live here from the Parliament building in Windhoek, Namibia, at the 8th session of Parliament's opening today, and it is opened under the theme of enhancing the role of Parliament for inclusive development and participatory democracy. And of course, Mr. Zacchaeus Kadikwa is still here, and he is really being such a great host, a great guest here for us on this special occasion. Mr. Kadikwa, in terms of the National Assembly, what can we expect from the National Assembly in terms of bills that are lined up for this this year?
Yes, the 8th administration, or the third session of the 8th administration, maybe if you can allow me also just to clarify that. When you talk about the third session of the 8th administration, that's specifically only talking to National Assembly.
Okay.
Yes, so those are the sessions, that's the National Assembly, it's on its third session of the 8th Parliament, while with the National Council, it's their first session of the 7th Parliament.
Wow.
Yes, I just want to clarify that.
So with the National Council, it is the 7th Parliament, but with Assembly, it is the 8th Parliament.
Reason being, National Assembly only opens its door in 1990, and back then we only had one or a single administration, which is a mono parliament. meaning
Okay.
that we only had National Assembly. In 1992, when we amended the Regional Local Authority Act, that gave birth to the National Council. Hence, they are actually lagging behind with 2 years because their administration only started in 1993. National Council only opens its doors in 1993, as of with National Assembly opens its door in 1990. Hence the difference.
Thank you so much for that insightful clarification.
Yes. So to answer your question in terms of what is expected in terms of the bills that we have lined up, we have identified, or we have actually not identified, we have spoken of a number of bills that we informed the public as to the expected bills that we are going to receive or hear that are going to be tabled in Parliament. These are not the only bills that we are going to receive in Parliament. These are the only bills that we have received so far from the executive. Remember,
Okay.
I spoke about the 2 types of bills that comes to
Yes.
Parliament. So at this point in time, it's a bit premature to talk about what other bills are we expecting from the private members' bills, because these are bills that are still being prepared by
Okay.
either members of Parliament or they are all either at their early stage or infant stage in terms of them being ready before they are brought to Parliament. So we have a number of bills that we are expecting. The 7, 8 that I've mentioned, those are the confirmed ones so far, but as time unfolds, we'll be receiving a number of bills as well that are coming to Parliament.
Well, of course, we can hear from the cultural groups there at the back, and they are definitely in festive cheers here, welcoming the president at this opening of the 8th Parliament. And we can see from my view here, it looks like it's the San. Am I correct, Mr. Kadikwa?
No, that's
Or is it the Tswana group?
No. That's actually the Kavango group.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Wow.
That's the Kavango group. I should say, yeah. That's the
Okay.
Kavango traditional group. I think the San or the Khoikhoi cultural group is the one dressed up in
The skirts.
the skirts. Yes.
The longer skirts. Okay. Well, we're definitely enjoying the drums from up here. And I do see that the protocol teams are also getting ready as they are standing closer. It seems as if perhaps our president is arriving in the next few minutes. So shall we just cross over and have some live feeds over there and watch how the cultural group is actually entertaining the crowd and also our viewers. Of course, we are here at the opening of the 8th Parliament, right here at the Parliament building on all our NBC platforms. That is, of course, our digital platforms as well as our radio stations and our television stations. So as you can see right there at the back, the parade has just entered the gates, and it seems as if they're just turning the corner right now with the trumpets and also the drums as the brass band is moving forward, clearly in anticipation of receiving and ushering in our President, Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, into opening this 8th session, or rather this 3rd session and 8th Parliament. Yes. Wow. Earlier on, Mr. Kadikwa spoke of the 3 uniformed personnel, and as you can see, they are definitely entering one by one around the corner, and it's such a beautiful sight from up here at the Parliament building here in Windhoek. Mr. Kadikwa, we are moving closer to opening this Parliament here today, and I think our viewers are also very excited as it's coming closer. What's going to happen right now?
What's happening now, we are seeing the arrival of the members of the Defence Force, the three branches of the Defence Force, the Navy, the Navy, the Defense, and then okay, I should... No, not the police. I'm not the expert in this line, but there are 3. I know that we have the Navy, we have the Defense Force, and then the Air Marshal, I believe.
The Air Marshals,
yeah, I'm not too sure, yeah.
Yes,
there are 3.
It's the Navy, which is the sea, and then obviously the Air Marshals,
yes,
which is in the
and
air,
then the ground
and
ones.
on the ground,
yes,
which
those
is the
3,
defense.
Yes. So they are actually going to line up in preparation of receiving the President, as the President needs to witness
Yes, Mr. Kadikwa, you were still explaining the 3 different uniforms that are currently here, right here behind us.
Yes, they are actually they're actually preparing themselves to line up or to form up what we refer to as the guard of honor that will be guarded off by the President. So anytime now we'll be receiving the President coming, and she will have to, she will be received by the Speaker, the Chairperson of the National Council, as well as the judicial branch of government. And then they'll form up then a procession here in front of the, at the stairs in front of the Parliament building.
Your Excellency, Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, the President of the Republic of Namibia, and Commander-in-Chief of the Namibian Defense Force. The Presidential Guard of Honor is formed up and ready for your inspection. Your Excellency, reporting, Guard of Honor Commander Major Jonas Kainane Herman. Your Excellency.
Everybody's in the way.
Yes.
To the right, 5 ceremonial steps, forward, march.
And of course, we are here at the 8th Parliament opening today. And as you could see earlier on, we had the President of the Republic of Namibia, Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, actually observe also the uniformed men right there, and also the guard of honor. And as she moves up to the chambers, she is actually making her way inside to get ready to actually observe the official opening of today. Mr. Kadikwa, as you can see, the judges are moving up. What's about to happen?
Yes, what's going to happen now, we just completed the President's Guard of Honor, whereby the military or the defense force has paraded march past and march of the President. Now we are going to the second part of the ceremony of the program, whereby we'll have the program unfolding inside of the chambers.
What can we expect inside the chambers?
Yeah. What's going to happen as of current, we are going to have the members of parliament are going to assemble in the National Assembly, both members of parliament, which is what we have referred to as the joint session, accompanied by the invited VVIP guests. That's now the Judge President, the Deputy Judge President, the three the three uniform personnel that I've spoken about.
Earlier, yes.
Yes, which is the police, the correctional service, and then the defense force. And then we have the vice president that will also accompany members in the chambers, as well as the former president. These are all these are all the expected individuals that will be inside the chamber. Once they have then assembled in the chamber, the deputy speaker and the vice chairperson of the National Council will then officiate that ceremony in the absence of the president, because the president will be then kept in the holding room, whereby she and the speaker, as well as the vice, as well as the chairperson, will be waiting there for the parliament session to resume.
Okay.
So what will happen is the the parliamentary procession, led by the by the deputy speaker and the vice chairperson, will then enter the chambers. When the honorable deputy speaker takes the chair, the sergeant at arms will then will then place the mace on the table and bow to take his position. Thereafter, The deputy or the honorable deputy speaker will then read and do the affirmation as per the parliament procession. Once that has been done, the honorable deputy speaker will then announce that Her Excellency the President shall open parliament and suspend the business of the day. The sergeant at arms will then lower the mace, and then the deputy speaker leaves the chamber to go invite the president into the chamber. So the honorable speaker and then the honorable chairperson will lead the parliamentary session into the chamber. This is now where you have the speaker side by side with the chairperson, followed by the president and the president's procession to enter the chamber. Then the honorable speaker will present her welcoming remarks and request Her Excellency the President to deliver her speech. The President will then deliver her speech, and then the vote of thanks will be given by the chairperson of the National Council. The Speaker thereafter will then adjourn the session of Parliament until further notice. That's basically what's going to happen.
What is the difference between the President's speech today during the official opening of Parliament and also the State of the Nation address? What is the key difference between these two speeches?
Yes, the President's speech today is to officially inform the general public and to welcome the members of Parliament on their legislative duty that is resuming. So today's speech, or the President's speech today, is just to welcome and to acknowledge the work of Parliament that is done so far. With the State of the Nation address, this is where the head of state actually account stock or unpack what was actually completed. These are now the achievements, the challenges that the executive has actually carried out. Remember that Parliament has a key function of accounting from the executive. So the executive come to Parliament to account to Parliament or to the nation through Parliament, just to inform the general public what was achieved, what were the challenges, and what is earmarked for this year.
Speaking of accounting, there is a perception from the general public that the Parliament of the 8th administration did not pass any bill at all in 2025. What is your take on this?
Yes, first and foremost, I would love to not clarify as per se. Maybe this is the platform I can also utilize just to educate the general public in terms of how laws are passed. As I clearly stated it earlier, you will see that it's not just something that you can do overnight. There is process that one needs to follow when a bill, when a bill needs to be referred or when a bill has to be passed. There are processes that one needs to do, and there are also channels and pros and cons that one needs to adhere to. Having said that, Parliament or members of Parliament, they are not only here to pass bills. That's partly part of their responsibility. But they also have a key function to play, which is the oversight function, meaning or making sure that they have an inclusive voices of the general public. So as of key here is that members of Parliament comes to Parliament Monday throughout Friday. As much as we say that the sessions only sits on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursday, but all the other days they are also at Parliament, Monday throughout Friday. Members of Parliament are here at Parliament to make sure that they have prepared themselves in terms of the laws They have familiarized themselves with the constitutional mandate. They have familiarized themselves with the parliamentary standing rules. And then to assure that, yes, what they are going to debate about on whenever it is going to be debated about, they have done the thorough groundwork. They have consulted extensively with whoever that needs to be consulted to so that they have a better understanding. All in all here, what we're saying that it's that we don't want, or they do not want to pass laws that are largely not investigated. They do not want to pass laws that are not inclusive in terms of hearing both voices. We spoke about the marginalized and then the vulnerable voices that are hardly also brought to Parliament, hence the platform created for them to take Parliament to the people, to those that cannot afford to come to Parliament. Interestingly also, members of Parliament they carry out all this mandate or functions on the basis or on the preamble of what the Act actually tells them to do. So there are pros and cons in terms of how they should actually pass on laws. What the public has actually expected is for them to pass as many laws as possible. However, that has not actually transpired. But I can't speak on behalf of the members of Parliament, but that's what it is. I believe it was a learning curve and it was a process that one has to understand, and also for you to familiarize yourself with what needs to be converted into a law.
So from the National Assembly's perspective, what would you say was the key challenge for not attaining this goal of at least tabling one bill?
Yeah, as I said, there are a number of hindrances, if I have to put it in that way, respectfully. It's that bills that were brought to Parliament, it's either that bills were brought to Parliament but not given the necessary attention it deserved, simply because the MPs had to familiarize themselves with the bill, first and foremost. And secondly, as I said, the process of lawmaking, it's not just a single-handed process. It requires also other key stakeholders, and for you to do justice on any particular thing. Yes.
We are crossing over inside to the parliamentarian chambers so that we can view the official opening.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we bow before Thee in humble obedience and dependence. We pray Thee, grant us the grace to respect each other this day in all our consultations, that our deliberations of today shall take place in the spirit of mutual trust, so that we as leaders shall lead our country on the path of peace and shall find solutions for issues and problems facing us. Grant us the mercy, O Lord, that we shall today also honor Thy name in all what we do, think, and say. Almighty God, we pray Thee, bless our land and all its people. This all we pray in the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord. Amen. I solemnly affirm that I will be faithful to the Republic of Namibia and its people, and I solemnly promise to uphold and defend the Constitution and the laws of the Republic of Namibia to the best of my ability. Thank you. Be seated. First and foremost, if there's one thing you have taught me is patience in this chair. I will wait for you. Honorable members of the National Assembly and the members of National Council constituting Parliament, the Right Honorable Prime Minister, Ministers and Deputy Ministers, on behalf of the Executive Branch of the State, the Chief Justice, the Deputy Judge President and judges representing the Judiciary, all other organs of the state, our bilateral and multilateral partners, members of the media, fellow Africans, good afternoon. This session is called in terms of Rule 16 of our Standing Rules and Orders, and as such, the 3rd of February of the year 2026 is dedicated to the official opening and address by Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, the President of the Republic, to the joint sitting. Therefore, permit me in fulfillment of the said provision to request my colleague, the Honorable Emma Muteka, the Vice Chairperson of the National Council, to accompany me to go in as we invite Her Excellency the President of the Republic into the chamber. Notably, in the meantime, I implore on you all to remain standing until the procession of Her Excellency the President enters the chamber. I so move. Kindly be standing.
take your seat. Your Excellency, Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, President of the Republic of Namibia, and Lieutenant General Retired Epaphras Denga-Ndaitwah, First Gentleman, Your Excellency, Madam Lucia Vetboy, Vice President, Your Excellency, Dr. Nangolo Mbumba, Fourth President of the Republic of Namibia, Right Honorable Dr. Elia Ngurare, Prime Minister of the Republic of Namibia, Honorable Lucas Muha, Chairperson of the National Council, Your Lordship Peter Shivute, Chief Justice, and other members of the Judiciary, Honorable Philippus Katamelo, Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Emma Tangi Muteka, Vice Chairperson of the National Council, Honorable Members of Parliament, distinguished Justices of the High Courts of Namibia, I addressed earlier, Your Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps and other development partners, Commonwealth Parliamentary Association of the UK delegation that has joined us here today, special guests of the presiding officers. I see the former chairpersons and deputy chairpersons are here. We welcome them. All invited guests, fellow citizens, members of the media. Good afternoon. It is my honor and privilege to welcome you all to the opening of the third session of the 8th Parliament of the Republic of Namibia. Since it is the beginning of the new year, let me also convey to you New Year's greetings and extend best wishes to you for the year. I extend a special welcome to Her Excellency the President. We appreciate her presence here today to commission the annual program of our Parliament. Since this is the first joint sitting of Parliament since the assumption of duty of the 7th National Council, I extend on behalf of the National Assembly warm congratulations to Honorable Muha and other National Council members on their election and re-election to the National House of Legislative Review and wish them a successful tenure. We look forward to working with you as we pursue our joint mandate as a legislative house of our democratic republic. I wish to recognize the presence of the former presiding officers and deputy presiding officers. I think I have referred to that already. I thank them for being here today. Today's gathering is not a mere ceremonial event, but it is a reaffirmation of our collective commitment to the principles of democracy, accountability, and service to the people of Namibia. The theme guiding this session, which is enhancing the role of Parliament for inclusive development and participatory democracy, is both timely and profound. It reminds us that Parliament is not merely a legislative body, but a living institution that must continuously evolve to meet the aspirations of our citizens. Democracy is not sustained merely through the mechanics of checks and balances. It thrives through the principle of complementarity. Our gathering today is a demonstration of that complementarity, an affirmation that while each institution is autonomous, none stands apart. Autonomy does not imply isolation. Rather, it signifies distinct responsibilities that, when harmonized, strengthen the democratic order. This complementarity is embedded in the very design of governance. The executive initiates policy through the drafting of bills, the legislature deliberates and enacts those laws, and the judiciary ensures their interpretation and enforcement. Each branch fulfills a unique mandate, yet together they form a coherent system that safeguards justice, accountability, and the rule of law. It is therefore imperative that we work in a spirit of collaboration and mutual respect. The separation of powers was never intended to fragment authority, but to optimize democracy by ensuring that each organ reinforces the other. As His Excellency the late President Dr. Hage Geingob often reminded us, these three organs form a trinity. a trinity that embodies the essence of democratic governance. In embracing this trinity, not as competitors but as partners, we uphold the integrity of our institutions and advance the collective good of our nation. The Namibian Constitution, hailed as one of the best in the world, is not merely a legal document. It is our nation's moral compass, the embodiment of our shared vision for peace, unity, justice, and prosperity. As we gear up to commemorate our Constitution Day in a few days, it is fitting to begin by acknowledging our progress, for indeed we have come a long way. From a land divided into Bantustans and characterized by racial hierarchy, we have grown into a unified republic under the banner of national reconciliation. The Constitution gave us the tools to heal old wounds, to embrace coexistence, and to forge a common future. We must recommit ourselves to constitutionalism, not just as a legal framework, but as a living covenant with our people. Your Excellency, honorable members, ladies and gentlemen, inclusive development demands that no Namibian is left behind. It requires us to ensure that policies, laws, and budgets reflect the realities of all communities. Parliament must serve as the guardian of equity, ensuring that development is not concentrated in a few sectors or places, but spreads across the nation to uplift every household. Participatory democracy calls upon us to deepen the engagement between Parliament and the people. Besides legislating, we must incorporate the voices of our citizens into the decisions we make and ensure implementation of the commitments we make. Mechanisms such as digital platforms must be strengthened to bridge the gap between the electorate and their representatives. In doing so, we reaffirm that democracy is not an event, but a continuous dialogue. The role of Parliament in this regard is pivotal. We must exercise our mandate with integrity, ensuring transparency and accountability. At the same time, we must foster collaboration across party lines, recognizing that our shared duty is to advance Namibia's development and safeguard its democracy. As we embark on this third session, let us as MPs recommit ourselves to the values that define our Parliament: inclusivity, participation, and service. Let us embrace innovation in our legislative processes and uphold the dignity of this House as a beacon of democracy. The challenges before us require unity of purpose and clarity of vision. As we open this session, may we be guided by the conviction that Parliament is the people's house, and its strength lies in its ability to reflect the will, hopes, and aspirations of all Namibians. Having said that, honorable members, it is now my distinct honor and privilege to invite Her Excellency, the President of the Republic of Namibia, Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, to deliver her address. Your Excellency, you have the floor.
Please take your seats. Honorable Dr. Sarah Kuwongerwa Madira, Speaker of the National Assembly, Right Honorable Dr. Arija Ngurare, Prime Minister, Honorable Lucas Sinimbo Muha, Chairperson of the National Council, Your Worship, Peter Shivute, Chief Justice, Honorable Philip Katamelo, Deputy Speaker, Honorable Emma Muteka, Deputy Chairperson of the National Council, Honorable Sophia Nango Shaningwa, Secretary General of the SWAPO Party, Honorable Emmanuel Shawana Nashinge, Leader of the official opposition in Parliament, Honorable Members of Parliament, Your Excellencies, Members of Diplomatic Corps, distinguished invited guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. February is a month of reflection and remembrance in the history of the democratic and independent Namibia. during this month, we have lost our third president, Dr. Hage G. Geingob, and our founding president, Dr. Sam Shafishuna Nujoma, who passed on the 4th and the 8th of February, respectively. In their memory, and to honor their legacy, may I ask you that we stand and observe a moment of silence. May their souls rest in eternal peace and their legacy continue to guide us. Please take your seats. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Chairperson, Honorable Members of Parliament, as the new year unfolds and honorable members return from the festive season recess, I join you in this chamber as you resume your national duties on behalf of the people of the Republic of Namibia. Although we are in February, I wish all of you a blessed and a productive New Year 2026. Let me also congratulate and welcome all honorable members of the National Council who have joined Parliament following the 2025 regional and local authority elections. I want to emphasize that you have joined this august House with a clear responsibility, which among others include the making of laws for this country. Honorable members of Parliament, the opening of the third session of the 8th Parliament under the theme, Enhance the Role of Parliament for Inclusive Development and Participatory Democracy, signifies a renewed sense of responsibility, reflection, and resolve as we carry on the work entrusted to us by our people. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Chairperson, this Parliament reconvenes amid rising public expectation. Citizens closely follow Parliament's work with keen interest because it creates laws and influences policies and decisions that impact their lives. Article 44 of the Constitution of the Republic of Namibia bestowed legislative authority to the Parliament, and this mandate assigned to you is your responsibility. And I want to paraphrase it: to enact, amend, and repeal laws, to scrutinize bills, treaties, and conventions, to approve the national budget, and to oversee government performance and hold the state institution accountable, and to debate matters of national importance to the people of Namibia. These constitutional responsibilities carry considerable importance. Laws enacted in this august House serve as a foundation for social order, economic growth, and democratic governance. They establish stability, fairness, and predictability, safeguard fundamental rights, encourage investment and innovation, and ensure disputes are settled peacefully. Hence, the need for a strong legal framework that strengthens democracy, enhances effective service delivery, and builds public confidence in state institutions. Honorable members, as you discharge this mandate, it is imperative to recognize that Namibia does not legislate in isolation. We are navigating an increasingly unpredictable global environment characterized by geopolitical tension, shifting alliances, and in some cases, disregard for established norms of international law. Powerful nations are increasingly asserting their interests in ways that challenge multilateralism and rule-based international law. For a small but principled nation like Namibia, whose foreign policy is firmly anchored on multilateralism, respect of international law, and peaceful coexistence, this reality requires foresight and prudence. The laws crafted in this House must therefore be strong, principled, and forward-thinking. They must protect our sovereignty, enhance democratic governance, and help Namibia navigate that enables global landscape while remaining trustworthy and a responsible member of the international community. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Chairperson, over the past years, our country has continued to face social and economic challenges, including high unemployment, inequality, and poverty among members of our society. Those challenges strain the social fabric of our society and call for collective efforts and shared responsibility from all three branches of the state to create positive change in people's lives. The reminders of the core truth, which I often say, we are too few to be poor. Those domestic challenges are further increased by global economic uncertainty, climate-related pressure, and geopolitical instability. In this context, Parliament's role in creating responsive, inclusive, and protective legislation becomes even more vital. The resilience of our people must be complemented by the foresight of our laws. When the 8th administration assumed office on the 21st of March, we were fully aware of the depth and the scale of the economic challenge confronting our nation. Our immediate focus was on stabilization, restoring confidence, and re-energizing growth. We remain dedicated to expanding production, increased participation in the economy, and making sure our people are active contributors, not just spectators in national development. The wealth, you like that? You must be part to it. The wealth generated in this country should benefit many of our people, not just a few. As Parliament continues to pass laws, it must ensure that natural resources are used responsibly and sustainably. Adding value to our product should be one of our core principles to stimulate and grow our economy. It should be our future strategic goal to gradually stop extracting our resources without local beneficiation. Last year, the government called on the public to propose amendment to any of our laws in order to address the needs of our people holistically. Some of the critical proposal amendments from the public include those that will ensure meaningful national benefit from our natural resources. It is therefore important that when those amendments are brought to Parliament, they should be considered with urgency. We continue There are many coming. There are many coming. There are many coming. There are many coming. We continue to prioritize agriculture, manufacturing, and digital economy, where young people leverage technological advancement to create jobs for themselves and their pets, while maintaining physical discipline and strengthening revenue collection. Honorable members, Namibia remains an active participant in the regional and global interparliamentarian forum, including the Southern Africa Development Community Parliamentarian Forum, the Pan-African Parliament, the International Parliamentarian Union, and the Commonwealth Parliamentarian Association. This platform supports policy dialogue, legislative harmonization with international standards, capacity building, and parliamentarian diplomacy to promote economic transformation, among others. This insight gained from those forums must inform our domestic legislative efforts and strengthen our dedication to a rule-based international system. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Chairperson, honorable members, authority in the Republic of Namibia resides with the people who exercise their sovereignty through democratic institutions and elect their representatives. Parliament therefore carries a responsibility not only to legislate, but also to uphold the dignity and integrity of this august House, as they are here on behalf of all Namibians. Robust debate is a cornerstone of democracy. However, it should be conducted with respect, discipline, and purpose. Our people expect their representatives in Parliament to work diligently. They want debates that lead to solutions, laws that improve their lives, and oversight that reinforce governance in a timely manner. Furthermore, the rule of law remains a foundation of peace, justice, and sustainable development. Therefore, in the Republic of Namibia, no individual authority or institution is above the law. Our commitment to accountability, transparency, and the fight against corruption remains strong. This is not about witch hunt, but about restoring and maintaining public trust in our institution. And as your president, I'm committed to that. Over the past years, Parliament considered and tabled bills which include the Appropriation Bill, which is the main budget, the Regional Council Amendment Bill, the Land Bill, the Public Enterprise Governance Amendment Bill, the Mental Health Bill, and the Appropriation Amendment Bill, which is the mid-term review. Notes were also issued for the introduction of the Accounts and Auditors Regulatory Authority Bill, the Income Tax Amendment Bill, and the Petroleum Exploration and Production Amendment Bill. Yes, it was given. It was given, and it's still on the floor, and it will still come. Regrettably, of all the 9 bills, only 2 which went through, and both of them are budget related. As a government, we appreciate because the government was not shut down. However, it is really disappointing as our people deserve better. But knowing Namibians, I know that was the starting of the parliament, and I have all the confidence and the trust that as you are starting your work today, you will definitely, this 8th parliament will serve the people of Namibia better. And I'm sure you all agree. Yes, I know in Parliament there are a lot of things that we can achieve. For example, some parliamentarians might be interested in scoring political points through debate. That's allowed. But it should not overpower. It should not overpower the wishes of the majority of these people who want the parliament to perform its fundamental constitutional duty of making laws which will guide and address the actual needs of our citizens. Honorable members, while we might have different political views as elected representatives, we should be united by a common goal: the prosperity and the well-being of the Namibian people. I therefore call upon all honorable members of parliament, regardless of your political affiliation, to raise above partisanship. To conduct yourself with dignity and to restore public confidence in this institution. Let this parliament be remembered for constructive engagement, principled leadership, and timely as well as tangible outcome that improve the quality of life of our people. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Chairperson, the path ahead requires mutual cooperation and a renewed sense of agency from all the 3 organs of the state. The executive, for its part, remains dedicated to work closely with Parliament to prioritize sustainable development. We are all leaders, and we must lead with passion. I am confident that together we can build a Namibia that is prosperous, fair, and justice. In this context, I look forward to a productive parliamentarian result in 2026. Honorable members of Parliament, I now have the honor to declare the 3rd session of the 8th Parliament of the Republic of Namibia officially open. May the Almighty God continue to bless the Republic of Namibia. I thank you.
Kindly take your seat. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for that insightful statement. And I would like to ask my honorable colleague, the chairperson of the National Council, Honorable Muha, to convey our appreciation on our behalf of Honorable Muha.
Honorable Speaker, I wish to express my sincere appreciation for the opportunity afforded to me to deliver the vote of thanks. Your Excellency, Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, the President of the Republic of Namibia and the Head of State, we extend our profound gratitude for your esteemed presence, your exemplary leadership, and the words of wisdom you have delivered this afternoon. Your address has inspired not only those that are gathering here today, but the entire nation. We further convey our sincere wishes to you for the continuous strength and good health as you lead our country on its path towards sustainable prosperity. Honorable Speaker, we extend our heartfelt gratitude to the distinguished dignitaries who have honored this occasion with their esteemed presence. His Excellency, Dr. Nangolo Mbumba, the former President of the Republic of Namibia. Excellency, Madam Lucia Vetboy, Vice President of the Republic of Namibia. Retired General Epaphras Denga Ndaitwah, Mshinda, the First Gentleman of the Republic of Namibia. We are so profoundly appreciative of your presence and the honor you have bestowed upon this gathering. Furthermore, the Right Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Elijah Chitunga Ngurare, Honorable Cabinet Ministers, leaders of the official opposition, and all honorable members of Parliament present here, you are hereby acknowledged with deep appreciation for your esteemed presence. Your Lordship, Chief Justice Peter Shivute, together with other honorable members of Judiciary present here, we extend our sincere appreciation for your esteemed presence. Honorable Speaker, permit me to further extend our sincere appreciations to the invited guests present here this afternoon. Among others, or among the distinguished attendees, that word, attendees, I recognize Honorable Aser Kapere, the former chairperson. Honorable Professor Peter Kachavivi, the former speaker. Honorable Margaret Mensah Williams, the former chairperson. Honorable Bernard Songas Valatani, the former chairperson. Honorable Lloyd Kasingo, who is also with us here. Honorable Victoria Mbao Kauma, the former vice chairperson. Honorable Doreen Sioka, who is also with us here. Honorable Bishop Kameta, who is also with us here. Mrs. Jane Guriras, who is also with us here. And of course, our UK delegation that are also present here. I as well wish to acknowledge with deep appreciation the presence of members of the diplomatic corps, former members of parliament, heads of institutions, captains of industries, administrative heads of parliament, the two of them that are sitting here, members of the media, and the broader public that are here. Your commitment to attend in person has greatly honored this occasion. Honorable Speaker, as I conclude, I invite everyone sitting here to join me in offering our profound gratitude to the Almighty for granting us with His grace and, of course, for the good rain. Thank you so much for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Honorable Muha, for conveying that vote of thanks on our behalf. Now, in terms of our rules, on the opening day of Parliament, there will be no further matters to consider. The only matter that was here for us to consider was to receive the opening statement of Her Excellency, which she has delivered in an excellent manner. And now, in terms of the rules, I have the pleasure to ask that the House adjourn, the Joint Parliamentary House, adjourn for this joint session of Parliament until further notice, but that the National Assembly would resume tomorrow at 14 hours 30 at the usual place.
And we are still live here at the Parliament building for the third session of the 8th Parliament opening right here. And today's theme is enhancing the role of Parliament for inclusive development and participatory democracy. Now, we are joined on set by youth activist Mr. Bernard Kavau to actually discuss a little bit more about the role of the youth and their significance in terms of their voices here at the opening of Parliament. Welcome.
Thank you. Greeting to all Namibian. I believe all the youth are watching. It's a good day to be here. Thank you.
Mr. Bernard, from a youth perspective, what expectations do young Namibians have regarding the Public Enterprise and Governance Amendment Bill 2025, particularly around accountability and service delivery?
Yes, the expectation of many youth is definitely service delivery. Now, for service to be delivered, it should be that whatever is that being amended, what is that has to be inclusive in the bill, it must include anything that benefits the youth. If you look at our current president, Honorable Her Excellency Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, her focus is always about inclusion, youth benefication. So what we are waiting for, especially with this, the policy of the amendment bill for 2025, when we are talking about service, we want youth also to be included. And also for the youth themselves to be included, they need to participate. They need to understand what this bill entails and so on.
And the petroleum sector is often linked with the future employment and also economic opportunity. How do young people view the Petroleum Amendment Bill in terms of skills development, job creation, and also long-term benefits?
Yes, the good thing about petroleum and oil is a broader topic whereby the youth are familiar about it. We look at many events that happened around the globe. We look at the Saudi Arabia, you look at the infrastructure of the sport and so on. And we believe that if the oil is well managed, so many people will benefit from it. Now, how do we expect the youth to get involved? We want us, the youth, to be educated so that we can be experts in terms of oil industry. And we don't want, when the oil is discovered, for the youth to be experts, like to just observe. We're expecting that we are trained so that we can get involved. We are also trained how to extract oil. We also need to be trained how can we be involved in the business of oil so that the business cannot come and surprise us whereby it becomes for the other nations. So we are excited, and we are looking at institutions of higher learning. We want them to introduce curricula more on oil and gas so that many doors can be opened for the youth. We believe it's through education. That's how the youth can be empowered. After education, of course, it must be open. Youth must have opportunity to do business in oil and gas. Entrepreneurship opportunities need to be there. The market need to be open to the youth. We know there's competition out already when it comes to the oil industry, but are our youth ready? Are they capacitated? Maybe that is what we must be looking into.
Also, land being a critical issue for young people in Namibia. What concerns or hopes do young people, or young Namibians rather, have regarding the land bill, and also especially in relations to access, equity, and also economic empowerment?
Yes, in terms of land, as a young person, we believe land is part of our DNA. It's part of our umbilical cord, so we are connected to the land. And in general speaking, science doesn't have to prove this. A child, when you start crawling already, you need to test the land. That's how connected we are to the land. Now, apart from that, as young people, we don't want just to own land. We want land that we can turn into a production hub. How do we turn land into a production hub? We want land to become like in terms of agriculture. If we do agriculture in land, be it livestock, be it crops, we want to produce. After producing on our land, we also want to be protected so that the business can be open to us. We don't want to compete with the bigger market, but there must be a space for the young people where they can sell their product. But not only that, but we have seen in other countries where young people are given land, later they lease it to the elites, or they lease it to the people with the business people that have the money. So how do we protect this land so that we utilize it for the purpose of youth benefication? We need to come up with policies that can protect the young people so they don't just sell it. Land must be productive so that the next generation can also utilize it.
Mr. Bernard, do you think that the youth are actively participating and are involved in parliamentary consultations on such key legislation as what you just mentioned now? And what more can Parliament do to strengthen youth participation in such key discussions and debates?
Well, partially the youth are involved. Mostly we thank the media, we read, we follow all the media platform, but what we have noticed now is that there are a number of youth who believes that Parliament, when we are passing bills, it's about legal language. We believe sometimes that when a bill is being passed, it's just for the lawyers. That becomes a problem. Now, after our interaction with fellow youth, we think what must be done is we must bring the language of the Parliament when we are passing the bill to a standard where the youth can understand. Another thing, maybe we need to convert it into our vernacular languages. And also when we are discussing about Parliament bills, we need to go where the youth are. I strongly believe majority of the youth, you find them in institution of higher learning, those who are studying. So how often do we engage institution of higher learning to make it mandatory that whenever we are discussing certain bills, it becomes a prerogative of the lecturers that some of these bills must be included, even at the beginning of the lessons. Apart from that, how well do we reach those that are in informal settlement to understand these bills? We need to reach the villages in vernacular languages. We need to be personal, engage them. And also, when youth have given their voices, our expectation is that when a bill is being passed, we need to see our voices to reflect. For instance, reference must be made to say, under this bill that has been passed, this is what the youth have said. Then we become part of it, we'll hold it, and we'll be accountable to it. If I can tell you one of the bill or one of the debate that's been hot about free education, is owned by the young people because that has been the call of all the young people. Now subsidized funding education, it has been owned by young people. That way, if we do that, many young people will be interested in Parliament bills, and that is what we are looking for, because the future belongs to the young people.
Of course, the future does belong to the young people. Mr. Bernard, I'm interested to find out, as a youth activist and perhaps in your understanding of other youth development organizations, do you think that you are doing enough to actually push the youth into these debates and to actually become involved, not just in legislature, but the opportunities that are out there, specifically the National Youth Development Fund? Do you think that the youth are owning these the opportunities to these funds and have access? Are they doing enough? And what are you doing as an activist to push the youth?
Well, we are trying our best. I think we are doing that. Where we meet young people, be it a sport court, even if we have football or a tournament, we are engaging in this dialogue. Be it we meet, be it a church, these discussions are ongoing. But the question is, even if these discussions are ongoing, for example, the Youth Development Fund, how is it the process, the bureaucratic process for someone to register their business? Is it accessible to the young people, or is it only accessible to the young people that are in urban area? What about the young people that are in rural area, that are unemployed, which becomes like it's very difficult for them to reach to the urban areas? Maybe that's the direction that we need to move. How do we bring services to the people where they are, where the young people are? Because if we are not careful, urbanization will come to an increase. Everyone will flock to urban city, and then at the end of the day, we'll still have a challenge of urbanization. We need to go back to the people where they are. That is the point that we are thinking. That is the better that we can do.
I'm curious to think that today here during the official opening of the 8th Parliament, we did witness young people here, but primarily primary school young people. I did not see high schoolers here. I did not see your youth up to 35-year-olds. Are they just not interested in such events to attend them? What is your take?
Probably we could say the period at which the parliament has opened, many young people, the university doors did not open. Majority of the young people come to urban area in search of either education or employment. Now, for those which are at employment, classes did not start yet. Probably that might be one of the reasons. But that is not a reason enough for them not to be here. Probably it can be either they are not invited, and I think any young person who will be invited will be interested to join the parliament. It's a dream come true for many young people just to be at parliament, to look at it, not just to look at it into the history textbook. Apart from that, we also believe that many young people, especially that are employed during this session, they are at work. How do you get leave to say to your boss that I want to go to the parliament at the parliament opening session? These are some of the challenges as to why many young people are not involved or not are here. But when it comes to learners, it's very easy. It's just the matter of a teacher to identify them and bring them to the venue. But nevertheless, I can tell you, I think we are moving in the right direction. Many young people are interested in the dialogue of their country because it affects them. In our discussion, we are saying politics is leadership. It is politics that decide how much, in layman's language, bread will be, electricity and water bills. Who will not want to be interested in such topics? I think we just need to reach them. We need more of civic education, that which the young people can resonate with and understand. That's the direction that we should be going.
Mr. Bernard, thank you so much for that. Earlier you mentioned that education is definitely the key to attain everything else, and specifically gaining access into key industries such as agriculture, oil and gas, as you previously mentioned. What is the way forward after attaining this educational degree that you are talking about? What is the action that will happen from the youth side after that to actually gain access to these industries?
Yes, I think the first action is that young people need to familiarize ourselves with the road as to how, one, if you are in entrepreneurship, what can you do for your business to be legitimately registered? Two, doors for the market. How do you gain entrance or access to the market? And also funding. What we are saying is that it's pointless to educate individuals and then at the end of the day for them only to seek employment. But even those that are saying they can create their own employment, what about the funding modality? Is it open for them? Or when they ask for funding, if we are giving them loans, are we asking them for assets which they do not have? I think that's the playing field that we need to level. We just need to make it open for everyone. We need to make it easy for the young people, but we need to keep them accountable. When a state gives you money, it doesn't mean this is money for dancing. Yes. But rather, you must use the money sustainably so that you can also employ other young people so that that business does not die. So you become a reference to the other young people in the future to say, look, the state has funded me, or company ABCD have funded me. Here I am today, I'm flourishing. And next, maybe you might be the next funder for the next business hub opportunity for the next young people. Because we will not remain young. It's just an age. Next, we are the elders of tomorrow. So we need to think in a sustainable way on how we can live for tomorrow better. We can no longer go back to the past and say, I wish I was there. But we are here now. Actions need to happen now.
Speaking of civic engagement, earlier you mentioned civic engagement and involvement also. Do you think that NGOs registered for youth development are doing enough to develop the youth in terms of aligning them to national agendas and national priorities?
I will say we are not that much doing enough. There are obstacles, there are predicaments to that. Sometimes it's having access to the youth themselves. It can be a challenge. Many times it's easy to get youth in urban area. Where do you get them? An institution of higher learning. Apart from that, unless you go to recreational facility like sport. Apart from that, when it comes to the rural area, it's a problem. One of it already just to reach them, it's a problem by itself. I think the better way how we are going to do this is when we develop rural area. When we connect ourselves to the rural people, there are many youth there out there that needs opportunity, but the message is not reaching them. So we believe we need to go there, we need to go to the grassroots. That way the message will expand to many youth in this country.
Thank you so much for your time also, Mr. Bernard Kavau.
Thank you
So
very much.
that was Mr. Bernard Kavau. He is a youth activist, and he was actually just talking to us about the role of the youth and their participation in national agendas. Up next also, thank you so much. Up next also, we have a guest who is from the IPC, Mr. Lizwazi, and he will be joining us in this conversation. Good day. How are you, sir?
Good day. Thank you for having me here.
Welcome to the show. Maybe I should start off by, were your expectations met today inside the chambers?
Yes, the expectations were met. As we have listened to the president throughout, even last year, she was not happy with the parliament not passing any of the bills that were tabled. Only 2 bills were passed, the appropriation bill and the midterm appropriation bill. So they were the only 2 bills that were passed. So the expectations were really met in her speech. Thank you.
Mr. Lizwazi, sorry, I'm just here.
Lizazi.
Lizazi.
Yeah.
Getting my paper ready. As a political sort of like political analyst, in your view, we would say today, from a policy analyst perspective or standpoint, what key governance gaps does the Public Enterprises and Governance Amendment Bill 2025 seek to address?
The gaps that it seeks to address is especially the main issue of accountability when it comes to the governance of the Republic of Namibia. Transparency is also key, whereby the leaders, all of us who are in leadership, are supposed to be transparent in everything that we do. And also looking at issues that benefit the Namibian people at large.
What about the Petroleum Exploration and Production Amendment Bill 2025, which has attracted both optimism and also concern? What policy risks and opportunities does this bill actually present for the Namibian economy?
Thank you very much. When it comes to the bill, they need to be accountability. They should be transparent. They should be policy guided based on what is provided for by the Constitution of the Republic of Namibia. Rightly said inside that the legislature, the executive and the judiciary are supposed to work together.
Yes.
So when you look at this policy, centralizing the power to an individual and then you are not transparent, it makes the Namibian people to be suspicious. And us as legislatures also become suspicious that why should we centralize the powers into an individual? So we need that particular person to be open up when questions are posed when it comes to this bill. So the bill must speak to the needs of the Namibian people.
Of course.
To the interest of the nation, to the benefit of the nation. Then this is not going to, that's why the people we have negative and positive people having that attitude. It's because there's a bit of lack of transparency. When transparency is there and the policy guide is clear to everyone, then there will be no one who is going to be negative when this policy comes. This policy is going to boost the economy of the country, because once we have it right, we are going to have a change and it's going to bring a positive impact to every Namibian. But if we don't get it right, it's going to be maybe a case like rightly said by the late Honorable His Excellency Dr. Hagegen May, his soul rest in peace. It should not be a case. It should be a benefit for all of us.
Indeed. Land reform has long been a sensitive issue. How does the land bill actually align with international interest and also best practices and land governance and equitable distribution of land?
Thank you very much. The land bill has taken the powers of the traditional authority away. As we alluded in the Legislative Assembly last year, those are the concerns that we have alluded on, that it takes out the powers of the traditional authorities and center all the powers in the minister, and it makes it, have the Namibian people will ask a question that how can we center such an important aspect that brought about the people going for the liberation struggle into an individual. So it's a problem. We see a problem that the land bill that is on the table now, on the role of Parliament, it's not really speaking to the aspirations of the Namibian people. At least we have put across the needs that we want to be amended. For example, to give the power when it comes to the distribution of the communal land to the traditional authority as they've been doing it. Because now there is an issue whereby there will be a committee that is even above the leaders of the traditional authority. When the traditional authority says the land goes to A, the committee says the land cannot go to A, the land goes to B. Now, where is the power of the traditional authority? And these are the people who are holding our society to peace. Exactly. They are working very hard and they are bringing peace and order in the communal areas.
Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. We really appreciate this insightful conversation.
Thank you very much for having me.
Up next, we have also another MP joining us on set, Mr. Abet Ishono, and he's also from the IPC, here today as a political analyst, and welcome.
Thank you so much.
Were your expectations met inside?
Yes, kind of.
Kind of, maybe explain.
The speech of the president, it's well crafted. She spoke as a mother, like talking to the children, her children actually. And I could sense from the president's speech that she had some disappointments that the 8th Parliament last year did not pass any laws.
Why do you think this is, or this was?
Yeah, from IPC we cannot quickly jump to passing laws without scrutinizing them. First we scrutinize them. When we are satisfied, when everything is covered, then only then that we can pass those laws. And in the previous years and with the previous parliament groups, they came up with many wonderful laws, which looks like we should put them aside and come up with new more ones, instead of revisiting those old ones and see where we can amend and restructure them to make, because some of those good laws were very, very good laws.
And as the official opposition, the IPC, what do you think you contributed to those laws, those good laws, as you rightfully state, for not being tabled?
The scrutiny. Strongly scrutinizing them, see if they are really, really there to serve the nation. And where we saw that they were not well polished, we tried to polish them. And that's where the delay came by.
How important, sir, is evidence-based research in shaping parliamentary debates on complex legislation, such as the 3 bills that we previously mentioned, which is the Public Enterprise and Governance Amendment Bill, as well as the Petroleum Exploration Production Amendment Bill, and also the Land Reform Bill.
Like exactly what I said, we could not quickly get into those until they are very well researched, until we have tangible information clear that is exactly what we are talking about. Are we really saying what is there, or is there something that we do not understand? Until we understand everything, well researched, only then that we can pass those laws, or we can agree that they can be passed.
And how is the research going as we speak from the IPC
From
side?
IPC, we have our teams of researchers. Ourselves are part of also the researcher teams. We sit down, we research, we check everything, and then we bring that to Parliament to make contributions to debates and stuff. And that's how the delay also came by. Yes.
Thank you so much for your time, sir.
You're
That's it
welcome.
from us.
Most welcome.
All right. Thank you so much. We have our next guest who is Mr. Pumba Ambrosius, and he's also joining us here today. Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Afternoon. I'm fine. I feel good.
How was the president's speech for you? Did you take what is for you? What is for you?
Yeah. I would say it's 100%, but it's above average. You see, she was speaking about whether Parliament last time, whether it was productive or not, which I commend that is true, because Parliament last time was not productive because many laws are still outstanding. So I want to say that the performance was below average.
So in your view, what do you think was the key challenge that many of these laws are still outstanding?
The key challenge is, you see, the majority are novice in Parliament, and you know the generations of nowadays is not like the generation of the past. So the generation of today, they don't want to go harsh in passing laws, meaning that they need to understand what laws it's all about before they pass them. So that brought a delay in passing laws.
So from what I gather, trying to understand a bill and dissecting it can also have ramifications of delaying such a bill to be tabled.
Come again?
You just mentioned that the generation of today takes a while because they are scrutinizing the bill.
Correct.
But at the same time, it has a ramification of delaying that the bill is actually tabled. Is that correct?
Correct.
Now, what best practice would you then recommend to this challenge?
No, the best practice I want to recommend is to revisit our standing rules in order in Parliament. So that also contributes to the delayment of discussions aimed to coming to conclusion of certain things. So our standing order and rules have a lot of loopholes that is hindrance to the passing of the laws. And instead of concentrating on the passing of the laws, the majority aim to, they just concentrating on debating without solution at the end.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much also for your time here today.
Pleasure.
And also to our viewers out there, thank you so much for tuning in to NBC on all our radio channels, our television channels, as well as our social media channels, witnessing the third session of the 8th Parliament that was opened today by Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah. That's it from myself, Crystal Nassau, as your presenter here today, the entire NBC crew. Thank you for joining us. Until next time. Bye-bye.
This is NBC1. It's ours.
Has not